Learning to love art. Lucas Cranach the Elder.
Throughout history, artists have created specific works of art depending on the circumstances in which they lived. Often, artists have been called upon to create flattering portraits of the wealthy and powerful, while on other occasions they have created art simply for the sake of beauty. There are times, however, when artists find themselves living in times of intense change, and we can see their art as a manifestation of these changes. One such artist was Lucas Cranach the Elder, who lived in Germany during the Protestant Reformation of the 16th century. This artist would become a fervent supporter of the movement, and we can see the changes he experienced personally and the changes society experienced reflected in his art. The first painting we are going to look at today is called Stigmatization of St. Francis, which was made very early in the artist's career, in 1502. This painting was made before the Reformation officially began in 1517, and we can definitely see from it that Lucas Cranach the Elder hoped to establish himself as a successful artist of religious subjects. The subject of this painting, St. Francis of Assisi, is a very important saint in the Catholic Church. If you've ever heard of the Franciscan religious order, it was founded by this famous saint. In this painting, the artist illustrates an important event from the life of St. Francis, when he gained stigmata. In the Catholic Church, stigmata are wounds corresponding to those that Jesus received when he was crucified. We can see that St. Francis is having a vision of Christ on the cross, and if we look closely, we can see an open wound on St. Francis's side, similar to the one Christ received from the soldiers who pierced his side. Also, we can see that St. Francis has a halo around his head, which is a technique commonly found in Catholic paintings that denotes saints and holy figures. It is certainly clear from this work of art that Lucas Cranach the Elder was very familiar with Catholic traditions and art styles. This painting is currently at the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. Lucas Cranach the Elder's painting Allegory of Law and Grace is very different from his painting of St. Francis of Assisi. This painting was made in 1529, over a decade after Martin Luther initially nailed his 95 Theses to the church door in Wittenberg. Instead of depicting a singular event from the life of a renowned saint, Allegory of Law and Grace uses imagery to convey some of the most important tenets of the new Lutheran faith. The artist contrasts these tenets against those of the Catholic Church, dividing the painting in two between them. On the left-hand side, the artist depicts a dark and frightening scene. Adam and Eve are seen in the background with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In the foreground, we can see a skeleton and a demon pushing a frightened man into the fires of hell. We can also see men in fine robes carrying the 10 Commandments on stone tablets. Combined, these various images point to the Catholic Church's emphasis on good deeds in order to achieve salvation. The image of the man being pushed into hell in particular implies that humans will never be able to perform enough good deeds to get into heaven. The images on the right-hand side are far more hopeful. In the background, we see a snake lifted up upon a staff, and people standing around it staring at it intensely. This imagery is drawn from an event in the Old Testament in which Moses told the Israelites that those who looked at the staff with a snake on it would live. In the foreground, we can see a man standing before the crucified Christ, being washed in his blood. Next to the man stands John the Baptist, who seems to be explaining to him what Christ's crucifixion means. Also present is a lamb symbolizing Christ. In contrast to the images on the left, the images on the right communicate the Lutheran belief that life and true salvation are given freely because of the sacrifice of the Son of God to those who believe. We can see that at the time Lucas Cranach the Elder made this painting, he had come to understand Lutheranism just as much as he understood the Catholic faith, and that he wanted to communicate it to as many people as possible through his art. Aiding him in his efforts was the printing press, an invention that was relatively new at the time. The printing press distributed images such as this one cheaply and efficiently to people all across Germany and beyond, helping them to understand what Lutheranism was really about. You can see the original painting of Allegory of Law and Grace at the Germanisches National Museum in Nuremberg, Germany. Not only did Lucas Cranach the Elder convert to the Lutheran faith, but he was also a friend of Martin Luther himself. It should come as no surprise, then, that the artist made several portraits of Luther. This portrait was made in 1529. Unlike the painting Stigmatization of St. Francis, in which St. Francis is shown with a halo, Martin Luther is not illustrated as a holy or exalted figure. He wears plain clothes and does not look handsome or idealized in any way. Martin Luther even comes across as a bit chubby, with a harsh and stubborn jaw. Even so, we can see that it is an honest, simple, and frank depiction of the artist's dear friend. In many ways, this sense of frankness matches the more easily accessible Protestant version of Christianity that Martin Luther advocated. This painting can be seen at St. Anne's Church in Augsburg, Germany. By studying the art of Lucas Cranach the Elder, we can gain a good perspective on the Protestant Reformation, but also the personal convictions of the artist himself. We can see the artist's change of heart from the Catholic faith to the Protestant one, and we can also see the closeness of the friendship between him and Martin Luther. Through studying the art of Lucas Cranach the Elder, we can see the unique role of art in the Protestant Reformation.